Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to finally make this video. I'm officially 1 year off taking birth control. This year went by so incredibly fast. A lot has changed in my life since I got off the pill. That's what I took. I took the pill. Most recently, I was on Yaz. I would love to discuss this with you ladies, talk about birth control, how it affected me, why I chose to go on it, why I chose to get off. Let's delve right into the video, and I hope that you ladies can relate to this in any way, or if you have any questions, make sure to comment below. I decided to go on birth control when I was 18. I had pretty painful periods. I would get pretty bad cramps, tenderness here, backaches, nausea, headaches. I just felt like during that time of the month, I felt like I could not function for like a day or two. And I don't know, I just kind of heard that, oh, if you get on this, you don't get a period. And I was like, okay, like actually maybe I'll try that. Like having a period is kind of stinks. And I just didn't want to feel that way anymore, which in hindsight, years later, I do kind of regret. The pill really is mostly for preventing pregnancy. I feel like doctors are really quick to prescribe you it without really asking why, which I understand, you know, it's a personal reason, but as an 18-year-old, I don't know if getting on the pill was the wisest decision, and I wish how much knowledge there is now behind your menstrual cycle, why you feel so terrible during it, you know, why your flow's so heavy. I wish I had more information on how to help myself during my period instead of just taking this pill to make it just go away completely. Doctors were pretty easy and fast to give it to me. Cost-wise, with insurance, it was always maybe about $20. There was a point I didn't have insurance, and then it was like, I think around $90 for like a 3-month supply, and that was with GoodRx. It definitely was pretty costly. Paying every 3 months the $20 was very different from the $90, and I never really knew what being off the pill was like. The only time I ever got off the pill was during COVID, and I didn't get a prescription. I couldn't get it because of everything that was going on. And during that time, I was in a very toxic relationship. When I was in a toxic relationship and off the pill, I was very insecure. I lost a lot of weight. I was depressed. I had very terrible thoughts. For the longest time, I thought me being off the pill was, you know, the hormones and the chemical reaction of my body not having it. So I was very scared to get off of it again, and I made sure I got back on it. I was off it for about 6 months. In that about 5-year span of me being on it, I kind of just thought to myself, oh, like I don't want to go through that again. Like I'm in this new relationship, which was with my now husband at the time when I was 22, and I was very nervous about getting off of it. That falls into my next topic, is why I decided to get off the pill. I knew within a few years I'd want us soon to have children. I just wanted to understand my body to the best I can, understanding how the foods I eat affect my body, cycle syncing, all those things, so I can understand truly what it takes to make a child, and I can be the healthiest when I make a child. Because it's a lot harder for some people getting off birth control and trying to have a child right away. Some people say that it took them a month, other people say it takes them years. And I just wanted to see where my body was at. If I did get irregular periods, if the pill did cause something else with me, I would know before trying to have children. Now I want to talk about the side effects of birth control, of being on the pill, and there's positive and there's negative, so I'll start with the positives. Of course, the first positive for me, which I thought I liked before, was skipping my period. And it's funny because I remember being on the pill telling other girls, yeah, I skipped my period. Other girls would say, oh, like I don't know how I feel about that, that scares me. And I never really understood it. I was like, why wouldn't you? Like you don't get cramps, you don't feel like crap all the time. Having your period kind of shows that your body is working, that you're on a cycle, and for some women, like that's important to them. At the time, I didn't understand the importance of that. Next one that was a good positive was I, for some reason, always had clear skin. A lot of women, they say that they break out, they get hormonal acne. I had the best skin when I was on birth control, and I knew that when I was gonna get off of it, I was like, I'm definitely gonna break out again. The last one was I did maintain my weight. I noticed when I got off of it, I did kind of have like water weight, or I did gain a few pounds, which for me is totally fine. I wanted to eat healthier, start going to the gym, have my butt get a little bigger, build up some muscle. I wanted to be stronger. When I was on the pill for those few years, I kind of stayed the same weight. It didn't matter my diet, it didn't matter how active I was. I just stayed the same weight. But I also think me gaining a little bit of weight may have to do with, you know, I'm aging. As you reach 25 to 30, your body slows down a little bit. So it could be either one of those things. So the negatives, the first one was I did have a low libido. I noticed it especially in the 5th year of being on the pill. Me and my husband were long distance. We were dating, and also for a little bit in our first year of marriage. And I just noticed I didn't really have a libido. I noticed it getting progressively worse. In college, I noticed that it was kind of like that, unless I was like talking to someone. Usually when you're ovulating, you kind of get that flirtatious sensuality within you. When I was single, I just didn't really have that drive or that urge. So another negative, I did just have a lot of anxiety. I'm not too sure if this came just from past trauma or genetic, but I did notice when I got off the pill, I was definitely less anxious, but I was also very much in a different phase of my life. I was in a healthy relationship. I was able to cater to myself and my own family and things like that. But the biggest factor when I realized I needed to get off birth control, the biggest negative, was I lost a sense of self. At that like 5-year point, I noticed that I had not really any emotion. It almost felt like my head was in a fog at this point. And I noticed it a lot when I was working. I worked retail a little bit right before getting off the pill. And I was talking to one of my coworkers. She was like, yeah, sometimes I feel like that too. And it just felt wrong. I was like, I feel no uplift in my mood. I don't feel creative. I don't feel inspired. I felt the best way I could explain it to people was I felt so flat. I felt linear, plateaued. I don't know how else to describe it, but I didn't have that joyous attitude anymore, and I felt so beige or gray. It's so hard to explain what that feeling is, but once I felt it, I was like, okay, I think I need to get off of this. Like, I want to know what my cycle is like. I want to know what it feels like to be off this. That is definitely the negatives, and the cons definitely outweighed the pros. I want to go on to regulating my cycle and cycle syncing. I was really nervous at first to see how long it would take for my cycle to regulate. I was nervous to see what the side effects of my period would feel like. Online, it says it can take about 3 months for your period to sync itself back to normal. For me, it definitely took maybe 9. I don't know if it depends on how long you've been on the pill, but it took 9, so very recently, to notice. And I would track everything on a period app. I use the Clue tracker. I would track everything on there. I would get a period and then I wouldn't get one for 50 plus days. Then I'd get one again and then it would be regular. Like another 40 days would go by. It was still very inconsistent. In terms of, you know, how I felt, yeah, I'd get cramps or I'd get headaches, backaches, tenderness, but it didn't really feel like anything crazy just yet. So then fast forward to around the 9-month mark. I'm eating better, by the way, I'm working out, and I'm really keeping track of what phases am I in. Am I in my menstrual, ovulation, luteal, follicular? I'm being very purposeful in what I'm putting in my body and the types of workouts I'm doing. Most recently, as I've eaten better and worked out and taken care of myself, while also my period getting back on track, I have noticed they are a lot lighter. I also stopped using tampons after everything that has gone on about them causing cancer. I usually just need like a menstrual cup the first day, and after that I'm fine with like pads, and my periods only really last maybe 4 days. The 5th day there's some spotting, but that's really it. And I remember, especially in high school, oh my gosh, I would need to lay in the nurse's office. Sometimes my mom would have to pick me up. I'd have periods lasting 7 days and they were pretty heavy. Yes, the first day of my period does suck. I do a lot of reflecting. I decide to really take it easy. I decide to just literally rest all day. I will eat good foods. Usually I like to eat a steak. That's something that we've been doing to help with the iron loss. Now the calendar on my tracker app, my period tracker app, is usually really spot on. I can definitely feel when I'm ovulating, and I can definitely feel the week before my period. Like now I know when those things are coming. Whereas before, when I first got off the pill, my feelings and emotions kind of fluctuate, and I was like, am I getting it? Or is this something else? Is this an external factor? Oh, like I have a high libido this day, then after a few days it's low. Now I can really get a sense of, okay, my tracker says I'm gonna ovulate this week. I definitely have a heightened libido. And then the week before my period in my follicular phase, I can tell things are setting me off a bit more. I have less patience. I may break out, stuff like that. And to end this video, I want to talk about the pros and cons of getting off the pill. Honestly, everything is pretty positive. The only con is, you know, the one day that I get it, it sucks. It sucks. You know, I've learned to try to embrace it a bit more because I didn't have a period for so long, and that's part of like my womanhood. It shows me that I'm fertile, and I thank God that I have fertility, that my body is healing and it's healthy. But of course it comes with its challenges, and sometimes I'm a very productive, outgoing person, and it definitely feels like a hibernation period for me. But besides that, everything else is pretty positive. I have a lot more energy. Like when I was on the pill, I definitely was the type, I need to take a nap daily. I didn't have that lust for life, as someone would say. Everything just felt very bleh. But now I have increased energy, especially when I know it's my ovulation phase or my follicular phase. I definitely feel a lot more go, go, go. I want to work out. I have like that kind of grind mentality of I'm excited to reach my goals. And then when I'm in my luteal phase, I definitely know that it's time for me to just kind of sit back, maybe do a lighter workout like Pilates and just chill. I also just feel a lot more clear-headed and in touch with my emotions, and I have an understanding as to why I react to certain things at different times of the month, or if different things excite me, or I could be more motivated to do one activity versus another activity at different parts of my cycle at different times of the month. And also for me, I don't have a 28-day cycle. It's more like 32 to 34 day. A lot of women, we constantly are like, oh, it's not 28, it's supposed to be every 28 days. Not true. It's 28 to I think 35. And I have about a 32-day cycle, which I've had to slowly but surely understand, like, okay, it's not going to be on the 28th day. It's actually more like a month in where I know I'm about to get it. It's just the best feeling to know that my body is working for me and I help it. I eat right, the best I can at least. I like to work out. I'm just doing what I can to fuel my body, and it rewards me by getting back on track, showing my improved fertility, and I have just a deeper understanding of my cycle and understanding what each phase entails and what I can do for it, what I can do for myself. So ladies, I hope this video helped you out. If you're deciding to get off or on birth control, if you're not sure, if you are on a journey of being off birth control yourself and you're worried, because I definitely needed videos like this. I did not see many videos about women talking about their experience off of it and how it affected them like this. Just continue to give yourself grace, be patient with yourself, and really embrace and feel every part of this journey that you can. And I hope you have people that support you through it, and if not, feel free to just comment below and let's get a community of people talking about this together. So I will see you ladies in the next one, and thank you for letting me share my story. Bye ladies.